Fall scrimmage intel on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. We talk and discuss what happened on the flat today on a smoldering heat day. Register 139 degrees on the field. I'll say that again. 139 degrees. Lord, it was hot. All right, what's going on, y'all, man? Welcome back to another episode, Georgia Tech fans. Man, welcome. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hype up the video. Y'all know I got to keep y'all with that content, man, so you guys keep coming back to the channel. All right, man, and join and become a member today. Help me out. Help me continue to grow this YouTube thing, man. Help me continue to grow this thing. All right, but look, we got lots to discuss. What I'm going to do, you guys make sure you guys subscribe to Kelly Quillon. Y'all make sure y'all go check out his article, Jackets Online. I'm only going to talk about his offensive notes. The rest of it, you guys go subscribe and go check out obviously his article and the work that he did, because I was not down there today. All right, I had some stuff I had to handle, so I was unable to go. I'm going to read through some of the tea leaves of what he had to say, and also what I heard from media members that was down there and what was said today in the presser. But I'm not going to go through everything, so I'm going to give a fair warning. I am not. I want to give credit where credit is due and show the article. You guys go check it out, okay? But let's go through the offensive notes of what Kelly said, right? Basically, this is what we said about Koi Jean No, right? Said he flashed again, right? Got some good catches in the scrimmage. He also noted that he had a couple of drops as well. Okay, so that tells me he's flashing, but those freshman mistakes, some drops in there, but he could have a role. Now, the key thing that we talked about going on SI.com, all Yellow Jackets, 4 freshmen could easily get playing time, right? That was said by Jafar Jean Williams himself, right? And I believe, or Javar Williams himself, I believe for him, you know, Koi Jean No could definitely see reps, especially in the return game. Remember, that has kind of been pedestrian for Georgia Tech, right? In terms of the Salem era of getting really good yardage from return game, being able to kind of, you know, put things out in front. They've struggled in that category, right? With Jean No and his explosiveness, that could help that out a lot. All right, that's number 1. Number 2, he's going to probably play that slot. So you're looking at a guy that's going to learn from somebody that's put on the pound, somebody that's gotten better, bigger, stronger, faster in Jordan Allen, right? So he's going to be able to learn from him and be even better next year when Jordan Allen's a junior, right? But all 4 of these receivers have a chance to play. I'm talking Jeremy Winston, I'm talking Darnell Collins, I'm talking Kentrell Davis, and I'm talking about Koi Jean No. So that is a positive for Georgia Tech. While some people feel like youth, they're getting the reps early. And if you're Georgia Tech, you're going to need that, right? Yes, you have the 3-headed monster. Yes, you have Allen. Yes, you have Isaiah Fuhrmann, who we'll talk about here in a second. Yes, you have Dalen Penton, but you're going to need these young thoroughbreds to come in because they're going to need rest, right? And that's going to be, okay, hey, you got your opportunity. Go out there and go play. Now, I ain't saying all 4 is going to play, but they have opportunities to do so going forward. And we need this wide receiver group to be good. We do, right? Do they have to be top-level ACC good? No, but they have to be competent. And they have to be able to make plays consistently if this team is going to have, obviously, a chance of winning ball games. Yes, the tight end group is elite. Yes, they're special in the ACC. But you also need players to take the top off the defense, too. So when they're playing up and they're crowding up to take away that tight end or to take away the run game, you can hit them over the top. That's a big difference level maker. Now, one thing from the scrimmage I do want to talk about that Kelly wrote about was Jordan Floyd. Now, Jordan Floyd is a guy, we'll pull up the quote here, is in a very interesting situation. Now, it feels like Ethan McKinney has pretty much locked down left tackle, right? But the right tackle spot, as we've learned, is still up for grabs, right? Most people think it'll be Jamison Riggs. Okay, cool. Left guard spot, we're thinking Kevin P. But both guard spots are open, left and right guard, who Malachi Carney is there, and he's obviously vying for the role, and right tackle. So that tells me there's still competition. And Jordan Floyd, as you guys saw, he's continued to come on. He had a big-time rep back in the spring that Georgia Tech football account posted. He's continuing to look good, and he's played a little bit of both spots. And this could finally be his chance and his opportunity. Now, Floyd is massive, and he is a load. Now, I don't know if he's going to start, but he'll definitely be, I think, in that rotation of guys moving around. We've seen rotation last year with Harrison Moore and obviously Tana Alo Tupaloa. We could also see the same for Jordan Floyd. But let's pull up the quote of what was said here. It said Jordan Floyd played left tackle I'll take off this ad. Jordan Floyd played left tackle today and played really well. I haven't watched the film yet, but I know when I'm standing back there behind the QB, if I'm getting smothered or if I am not, I know we were able to complete passes. So I was pleased with that. He noted. I'm not sure if after watching this and by the end of next week, he might not be in the top 5. Right? That says a lot. He might not be in the top, or he might not be in the top 5. Right? That tells me like he's vying for that spot, right? So there's only 2 tackle spots. I don't feel like there's a question of who left tackle is going to be per this quote. Like I'm pretty sure we know it's going to be Ethan McKinney. So that's telling me like, okay, we might go with Jordan Floyd, right? At the right tackle spot as our starter, right? And he's been a great addition for Georgia Tech. He's been continuing to come along. And he's gotten better and better each and every step of the way, right? And now he's in a great opportunity where he could even potentially vie for the role. If you would have told me that before fall camp, I would have told you he was lying. Not because Floyd couldn't do it, but what was being said about Jamison Riggs, thought he was clear cut the right tackle. But apparently, Floyd is pushing for that spot, and Coach Key feels very high, obviously, about him. Okay. So that's a big one there. He also talked about JP Powell continuing to show up in practice with big plays at running back, right? And that's big because everybody's going to look at Justice Haynes and Malachi Hosey, the bad boys. But it's much bigger than that, right? This team is much bigger than just those 2 players, right? This team goes much further than that. So that tells me, okay, JP Powell, like he's going to probably be the 3rd guy there, right? Now they moved the guy, I believe Jaden Barr to running back as well, along with Shane Marshall, Traylon Maddox, and Ty Alexander. But I'm telling y'all, I think JP Powell is going to probably be that 3rd back for Georgia Tech. We seen him rip a 54-yard run in the spring game. You know what I'm saying? In the spring. I think this could be a guy that makes a lot of plays and has a big time year. And here he says right here, former safety turn running back Jaden Barr also stepped up on Saturday as they regulated snaps and workload on the veteran running backs at the top of the depth chart. Okay, so that is what he had to say there. And that is most of the notes. Now, like I said, make sure you guys go subscribe to Jackets Online. I'm not going to go through everything that he had to say because I don't want to take away from him, but go subscribe. But also in that, I'm hearing that Georgia Tech defensive line, they did it again. These defense, they forced multiple 3 and outs. That is the latest intel there. I'm hearing they forced multiple 3 and outs. So obviously that is very massive for Georgia Tech, right? Maybe a little concerning for the offense, but the defensive line and the defense starting to kind of make those plays, starting to kind of, take those jumps forward and making it very tough for this offense to get going. That's multiple times now, right? Go back to the spring game. This defense is something special. I'm telling y'all, I got the funny feeling that Jason Seymour's coming along. He's doing the things that he needs to do. I think this defense is finally like the type of defense they can go and win games for them, right? They can close out games, right? And Georgia Tech hasn't had that, right? Like they had moments last year, right? Clinton Powell-Lee closed out the Wake Forest game in overtime, 2-point conversion, did what he was supposed to do. But they have not had that type of a defense to do that consistently. I think they might have that. And I think they continue to show what they're going to do, right? Last thing I want to talk about, obviously, talk about wide receivers. We talk about the offensive line. Obviously, we talked about how the defense has been continuing to perform. I want to talk about Isaiah Fuhrmann. Fuhrmann's been a big topic of discussion, right? Coach Key refers to him as the big old joker, right? 6'4", right? He's expected to be that big body catcher for them, that big body wide receiver, right? But I think the difference for them is most people think he's just going to be a 50-50 catcher. But a lot of people are saying he's pulling away from people, right? After he catches the ball and does things. Apparently, he did something big on the 3rd and long today, right? So I want to pull up, obviously, some of it. And I don't know what the hell is wrong with Colorado fans. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to comfort them in the comments, but just this knack for always having to belittle or to talk crap on GT. I'm all with trash talk, but it's just like, bro, it be so unwarranted from their fan base. Like, and when I say unwarranted, like y'all be fishing for it. Like it's okay to comment, it's okay to like if something was said, sure, but they're so out of whack with it. Like they'll just look for anything to say, right? Like even like I'm gonna pull up this thing with Fuhrmann, right? So I captured this, okay, and I want you guys to be able to see it. Nothing crazy, just showcasing Isaiah Fuhrmann and his ability and what he can do, right? And like I said, Colorado fans went crazy on this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we locking that up, blah, 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 this. And I'm all good with good talk. But this has nothing to do with Colorado. This is just him going through his routes, going through his plays with D-Hop. I don't understand it, right? Y'all got to chill. I just want to bring it up as a side note. Going back to it, They said he had a really good week. That is what Georgia Tech is saying. They say he had a really good week, and he's been doing some things. Called a third and long today, and was very good for GT. And I think the positive note there is you wanted to see that, right? He dealt with a little injury in the spring, and you wanted to see a guy that is starting to kind of come on. And per the quotes, he's a guy that's starting to come on. And I think that's very important for Georgia Tech because you need your top three to be solid. You don't need questions from Pinson or Fuhrmann or Jordan Allen. I think you can pretty much solidify that as your top three. You don't need issues there. You need to know what it is, what it's going to be, and what you're going to have at that position. And I think for Fuhrmann, he's finally coming on, and he's finally, I won't say becoming a guy, but a guy that you have to watch, a guy that you have to pay attention to. And for Georgia Tech, you're going to need that this upcoming season. You're going to need that. So, in my opinion, I definitely think, he's in store for a big year. I think he has a great level of talent. I'm saying, big body, and I can't wait to see what he does. I'm saying, for Georgia Tech, and he really could become that third down target. While we talk about Kevin Roche and Gavin Harris, Isaiah Fuhrmann could be that guy on third down for Georgia Tech in his offense that consistently makes plays, obviously, throughout. All right. So that is some of the spring scrimmage intel, like I said, or the fall scrimmage intel, excuse me. I didn't go through everything, Georgia Tech fans, right? But remember, I'm not trying to take away from Kelly because he was there, right? I was not there. But I went through some of the things that he talked about, the offensive notes. But goes to show me, biggest thing that he said was a mentally strong football team. That's where we'll leave off on the last thing. A mentally strong football team. That was what was said, kind of referred to today. Going through the heat, 139 degrees on the field, going through multiple reps, going through a 14-14 game, and having to go all the way to halftime. Like, going through things in adversity, right? And things you can't control, right? You can't control the weather today. You can't control the scorching heat. You're not going to be able to control you going to Virginia Tech in October and what that weather's going to be. You can't control that, right? You can't control what Tennessee's going to have at quarterback, right? You can't control the injuries. Like, you have to control what you can control. And I think for Georgia Tech, the mindset is the biggest thing I want to allude to as we close out. You could have easily, reeled it in. You could have easily quit, right? You could easily stopped. But I think for Georgia Tech, the fact that they approached it like, yo, no, we're going to get better today. Yo, we're going to fight through these conditions and get better as a team. Yo, we're going to do what we need to do in order to try to win this game. And I think for it going neck and neck like that and everybody giving an effort and going hard, I think it says a lot about this football team and the mental fortitude, right? That goes a long way because I would never call nobody or say Brent Key's teams were mentally weak, but I think this team has been missing like that edge, right? And when I say edge, just not that Coach Key doesn't have it. I think he does, but just like as collectively as a team, right? Like, put up or shut up. Like those big games, like against Georgia or those big games against Pitt, that's gonna punch you a ticket to ACC championship. Like, they've always had leaders, Keelan Rutledge and Haynes King, but I feel like as a team, they're in a better position, right? Because you're not leaning on what Rutledge has to say. You're not leaning on what Haynes King has to say. You're at a point now where collectively, like, yeah, we got it. Okay, we together on this. We're gonna do this thing. You know what I'm saying? We built in. I'm not saying they didn't have that before, but I don't think they've had it to this level, right? And I think it's different for them. I think everybody sees like what's out there. They see this defense always dominating. They see these receivers starting to come along, right? They see in the offensive line competition and people starting to kind of emerge there, right? They're seeing how these safeties are beginning to play and how they're moving around to the football. I think that's major, man. And I just think they're in the right trajectory, and I think they're moving in the right direction of what they want to do this year, what they want to accomplish. And I think the sky's the limit. Like, nobody's saying about Georgia Tech, only 6.5 wins per the sports books, but the sky is truly the limit for this team. And they have a chance to be really, really special. Really special. And that's something that we got to talk about. Like, and I think the mental fortitude today of what Coach Key said in his press in his conference of what they can do and how good they can be, and just taking the bad circumstances and not allowing it to affect you tells me everything I need to know. So I think GT is dangerous, and I think they're gonna be a team you're not gonna want to face in November, bro. I really think this is the year they get through the hump. Like, they've been pushing it, knocking at the door, and excuse me, I think this is the year they get over that. They get over that hump. They finally get to an ACC championship game. They finally get past 9 wins. They get 10 wins this year, right? And they are on the cusp of getting to a CFP playoff. and that's going to do a lot for their football program in a franchise, and going forward for their team. They need it, and I think this is the year they deliver. But that's all I got, man. I'm off my soapbox. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Like, comment, subscribe, hype the video, and please let me know other content you guys want to see moving forward. I want to continue to tailor this content to y'all. We'll have high school football, of course, on here. Highlights, man, interviews, all that good stuff. Make sure you guys tune in on Monday for Just Sizzling the News as we return with the panel and much, much more. Man, I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, as always, peace and love.